I think a location like Resident Evil 4's map would be great for Resident Evil 8. Maybe a rural area in the middle of nowhere with various locations throughout the map, including small, creepy towns. Or maybe even an isolated location up the mountains. After 3 long years, we finally got the Resident Evil 8 reveal trailer, and after watching it, I was so blown away with how great of a job Capcom have done with this game's atmosphere and overall tone. This is exactly how I imagined Resident Evil 8 to be like, or at least what I hoped for, even down to its location. Over the past few years, I have made a couple Resident Evil 8 videos discussing specific details and mechanics I'd like to see in the next title, and from what the trailer shows and from what the leaks have suggested, I think it's safe to assume I inspired Capcom in some way or another, and I'm very excited to see some of my ideas come to life in Resident Evil 8. Things like more outdoor exploration, psychological horror, early 1900 relations, and a Resident Evil 4 styled inventory system. You can check out my old videos by clicking the card above just to see how similar Resident Evil 8 has turned out to be compared to what I was describing back then. It's a crazy feeling knowing that I possibly impacted a series as big as Resident Evil. Or it could be a huge coincidence and Capcom probably didn't watch any of my videos. But regardless, I think we are all in for a huge treat when it comes to what Resident Evil 8 is going to offer us as the player. In this video though, I wanted to talk about a topic I've had on my mind for a while now, even before Resident Evil 8 got revealed. With next generation launching soon, ray tracing is going to become the new standard in games. And as we can see in the trailer, Capcom have already adopted the technology in their engine, as seen in this shot. If you don't know what ray tracing is, in short term, it's real-time lighting and reflections. It's basically a simulation of how real-world lighting works. So in games, there will no longer be fixed reflections to make it seem real. What we see in a reflection is exactly what's happening in the game. Light will now bounce off all surfaces and create realistic environments and scenery. We can walk around in a game and see all the reflections from different surfaces change as we see different angles from what the light is reflecting. Does that make sense? Probably not, I'm not that smart, but it makes reflections accurate and real in games, and that's my main focus about it in this video. Reflections will now become reliable and be able to be used to see things around corners and other angles if the lighting is right and you're looking at a surface at the correct angle, just like in real life. From the very first time I saw what ray tracing can do in a game, I instantly thought of how Resident Evil 8 could use it to create unique puzzles that uses lighting and reflections in order for the player to solve them, and like I said earlier, to use reflections in order to see what's around corners and other areas that we may not be able to see without using a surface's reflection. So what does this have to do with a day and night cycle? Well, first let's discuss the possibility of it being in the game. From watching the trailer, we see multiple night scenes along with day scenes, and this made me wonder if the game will in fact have a day and night cycle. This would definitely be something very different for the Resident Evil series, and with how different this title already looks, it would fit right in. With the game having a new werewolf type enemy, it adds even more probability that the game may have a day and night cycle, having nighttime bring out the werewolves more frequently. Also, there are rumors about the game having heavily focused flashlight gameplay which runs out of batteries, which by the way, I specifically asked for that in my old video, so I'm extremely excited for that. That will definitely add a huge amount of intensity to the game. Having flashlight gameplay means it will obviously have to be very dark in the game a lot, and having a day and night cycle will allow for this. And with a day and night cycle comes a time system. I think it would be groundbreaking for Resident Evil 8 to include a time system where certain things happen at different parts of the day, whether that be certain enemies appearing at night or clues for puzzle solving being revealed using reflections and lighting at certain parts of the day. Depending on the sun's location and the angle the light has to hit a surface in order to reflect a shape or to activate something would be brilliant. But even if Capcom doesn't use ray tracing for puzzle solving, having a time system with a day and night cycle would still be amazing to see in a survival horror game like Resident Evil 8. I feel it would definitely add more realism to the game, having to check our watch every so often to see how late it's getting to avoid certain areas at night, or have to be at certain parts of the map at specific times during the day for events to occur. I don't know, it's just something I've always wanted for Resident Evil 8, and seeing the trailer include day and night scenes as well as the flashlight gameplay rumors, I feel it might be finally happening. But only time will tell. We will be getting more info about this game in August, so we won't have to wait too long before we know more about what this game is all about. It's good to be back making Resident Evil 8 videos again. You can expect more projects from me coming soon and throughout the year. I'm currently working on a second Resident Evil 8 video already, which reveals a lot about the game through a recent discovery I found. So make sure you subscribe here at Rajant Productions and click the notification bell because you are not going to want to miss that one. But with that, I'll catch you guys in the next video.